Hey, welcome everyone. This yoga practice is going to be focused on how to move from a state of contraction to a state of whole body well-being. We know that states of contraction happen when we get activated with the sympathetic nervous system because the body has to prioritize the energy in a certain direction when we're under a kind of sympathetic regime. And what that means is we're under the fight or flight survival mechanism. And so our body has to prioritize certain functions and deprioritize other experiences. What happens in the physiological body is places of tightness, a gathering of energy for direction to fight off or to flee from a threat, or the sense that we become contracted in one area of the body and we lose contact with other areas of the body. So sometimes people will say that they kind of live from the neck up, for example. Or when I ask clients or students in counseling or in Hunger, Hope, and Healing, if I ask them, well, where do you sense that emotion in your body? Sometimes they're not able to sense it in the body because they haven't developed that relationship with the body since the emotional body actually had to be kind of, shall we say, blunted in parts of our early life. Because if we didn't have the resources for those emotions to be met and cared for and role modeled and understood, we had to learn how to downplay or blunt some of those emotions. And in deference to that, instead of having the emotions come through, we probably learned how to think more or how to act more. And to do those things that involved thinking or acting took us away from painful emotions that we didn't have somebody to help us with, right? So in a healthy environment in our development, when we have an emotional thing going on, ideally we'd have a role model or a care provider or some love or acceptance or understanding. And then of course, some help, some guidance for these emotions. We wouldn't just be left to kind of flounder on our own. We wouldn't be having to suppress them down under our own radar screen. That may not be what happened for you. And therefore you might have the patterns of becoming contracted and getting going, fighting, or fleeing, where your body organizes your energy to do something, but it moves you away from emotions and therefore also away from your well-being. So this class is going to be focused on moving from that contracted state to the more open and expansive state in the body on behalf of our well-being. Okay, so I'll meet you on the yoga mat back here, and you're welcome to get yourself set up with a yoga mat and a blanket. Let's take a seat. Come to an upright seat for meditation. You can rest your hands in your lap. Sit comfortably, whatever that would be for you, which might also mean sitting in a chair or sitting on a round physio ball if you need that. And then close your eyes. Lengthen your spine. And just begin to practice a gentle body scan. We're going to scan through the body to see what we can notice by way of sensations. We're going to scan through the body and see if we might notice not just sensations, but a color, an image, maybe even an emotion. So just beginning at the top of the head. Notice any sensations there. As you bring attention to the top of your head, also observe any images or colors. And bring your awareness down over your head, like circumferentially, 360, noticing your forehead, your temples, the back of your head. Notice again any colors or sensations associated with this region of your head, and any emotions that might come. And come down a little lower, so eyebrows, your eyes, the corners of your eyes, the sides of the temples, then again around to the back of your head. Just make contact with whatever is there, giving it your loving attention without any sense of coercion. And come down over the bridge of your nose, the sides of your nose, your cheeks, around to the area just above your ears, and again towards the back of your head. As you're noticing, sense of images come through or colors. Or emotions, feelings. To the best of your ability, leave aside the habit of judgment, the habit of self-doubt. So whatever you're noticing, it does not need you to add judgment, nor do you have to doubt if you're noticing the right thing. Let's bring awareness now down to the bottom of the nose, the nostrils, the place where your nostrils meet your cheeks, where they meet your upper lip, and over towards your ears. And around towards the base of your skull. And let that begin to include the hinge of your jaw, your lower lip, the lower jaw, your tongue, under the earlobes, and around again to the base of the skull. As you connect with these various parts of your body, listen again for any sensation or color, an image, a feeling. And bring that down over your neck, so the front and the sides and the back of your neck. And start to go inside the neck, so into the interior of your throat. Noticing even inside the throat, any sensation, color, emotion, image. And begin to come down to the very top of the shoulders, so the base of the neck, and then across the top of the shoulders. And let that bring you out to the outer edges of your shoulders. Down the shoulder blades on the back, and the heart, and the sternum on the come down through your upper arms to your elbows, and include the upper torso just as low as your elbows also sit. And see what's there. What needs your loving attention? And simply noticing without judging, and bring awareness even to the inner body, the interior, like the heart and your lungs. And then to the organs across the mid-torso. It'll include your stomach and your liver, the pancreas, the spleen, gallbladder, kidneys and adrenals. And then let your attention go down further now to the navel center, the small of your back, the sides of your waist, down to the base of the abdomen. And also include your sacrum and your tailbone. And start noticing, like, oh, there's so much in here, and it rarely gets attention during the day. So feeling what's present there as you bring this body scan now down to your pelvis and include your legs. Since we're sitting, we'll do this whole region at once. As we scan the entirety of the body without judgment and without expectation, without coercion, notice the feeling tone of that now as you bring your hands together at your heart. And you may bow your head to your heart. Okay, so what generally happens when we become activated or contracted or preoccupied or driven, like I was saying before, those feeling tones in the body don't include the entirety of the body. They include a part of the body, and it includes the survival system. It includes a certain contraction to take us to a destination, to cause something to happen. So when we're relaxing into the entirety of the body, even just by doing this body scan practice, we're eliciting a state of shift for the brain to come back to a sense of well-being. And that well-being could just be the absence of the sympathetic nervous system overdrive. But it can also become not only the absence of that fight or flight, but the fullness of things like contentment or expansiveness or connection. Right? We're going to come down onto the floor like this guy. This is Nakula. See how relaxed he is? Nakula? Oh, yeah. You're kind of limp right now. This is my only boy kitty. The other kitties are all girl kitties. Hi, honey. You relaxing? Beautiful demonstration. So we're going to come down to the floor to do another form of meditation called progressive muscle relaxation. So I would recommend that you have a blanket for your head and a space for your arms to go out to the sides. And if possible, you've got room for your legs. We'll see what I get here. So when you lie down, let's take, just check that you've got room overhead for the legs, for the arms. You can do that. You've got arms out to the side. You've got room for the legs. I'll do a starfish position because I think he's still lying there. So knowing what you have for space, now come back to knees bent, feet flat on the floor. All right. Take the right arm straight up like this, and we're going to begin with shaking this limb. And as you're shaking your limb, breathe smoothly and deeply into the belly. In the shaking process, imagine that you're shaking off stress or tension. Let the hand and the arm get loosey-goosey, so it feels like a wet noodle you're shaking. And then give it 3 really good strong shakes. So 1, 2, 3, lay your right arm down. Notice the sensations of the right arm and let that be a way of being more connected to your right arm. And then the whole of your body to which your right arm belongs. And bring the left arm up and shake it. In this shaking response, again, let it be loosey-goosey. But breathe down into the lower belly and breathe smoothly and deeply. So your arm and your breath have 2 different rhythms. And then with that, we're going to do 3 strong shakes. So 1, 2, 3, and then let that come down. And see if you can notice your left arm and your right arm. And then take your legs up. Let's do both legs up and both arms up. This is called the dead bug pose. And we're going to shake. Hopefully you feel comfortable shaking and that no one's watching you. It's for your mental health, physical health, so give it a good shake. And with that shaking, then let's do it 3 strong times. So 1, 2, 3, and then lay the arms and legs out. And try to sense your limbs connected to the larger experience of the whole body. Now take the right arm. With your inhale, squeeze your right hand into a fist. Squeeze your right arm and your right shoulder. Breathe in. And then exhale, relax from your heart back down to your right hand. Again, right side. Inhale, squeeze your right hand to a fist. And exhale, relax all the way out from your heart to your shoulder, down your arm to your hand. And again, squeeze your right hand, inhale. Squeeze the whole arm and the shoulder. And exhale from your heart back to your hand and deeply relax. Now notice the weight of your right arm relative to your left arm. And let's do the left side. So inhale, squeeze your left hand into a fist, squeeze the whole arm, squeeze your left shoulder and shoulder blade. And exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze. And exhale, release. We do that one more time. Inhale, squeeze your left hand, squeeze the whole arm. And exhale to release. And from the heart, try relaxing out into your arms and your hands and fingers and thumbs. And on behalf of your brain, I'm going to ask you to imagine that you could look at both arms at the same time while they're out to the sides. So imagine sensing both arms, sensing them at the same moment. Okay, and now we're going to come to the legs. So with your inhale, squeeze your right foot, right calf, right knee, right thigh, right butt. And exhale, release. Okay, inhale, squeeze. And exhale to release from your hip all the way to your toes. 3 times more. Okay, inhale to squeeze. Start from your foot, come up into your hip. And exhale to release. All the way to your toes. And again. Okay, and now for the other side. Inhale, squeeze your left foot, left calf, left butt. And exhale to release all the way out to your toes. Okay, 4 times more. So it's a 5 breath cycle. Keep the breath smooth during inhale and exhale. No sense of rushing, no sense of hurry or haste. At the end of doing the left leg 5 times, now bring awareness to both hands and both feet, and see if you could take a starfish position so your feet are wider than your mat. And can your brain imagine the 4 paws at once? So 2 feet, 2 hands. And now inhale, squeeze your hands and your feet, your arms and your legs, your shoulders and your hips. And exhale, let that go. Remember the whole of the body during the exhale, the entirety of the body. Inhale, squeeze, feet and hands, arms and legs, shoulders and hips. And exhale to release. And again. Okay, twice more. Each time you exhale, go all the way back out to the fingers and toes and do one more squeeze. And then exhale to release. Now, bring your feet in so they're hip distance apart. And with your feet, I'm going to ask you to start making this action at the ankles. And on this action, what you're doing is you're using the toes to push, 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 push. And it's going to make the whole body shake a little bit. There's no responsibility for the arms on this one, just for the feet. Relax your neck and your throat. Allow your body to be moved by what your feet are doing. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, about 5 times more. And at the end of that, you're going to lie really still. And see if you can sense the whole of the body. And try to picture your hands and your feet within your visual field, eyes closed, but try to picture them. As you sense the entirety of the body, start noticing the ground beneath you supporting you to be here. And let's do this without any additional effort now. Picture your body as if it were like the sand moving through an hourglass, each grain of sand dropping down to the bottom. And your body getting heavier, more grounded, more deeply relaxed. One grain of sand at a time. the back of the heels, the back of your calves, back of the calves, and then the back of the thighs. Whatever part of the thighs are touching the ground or not. And now include the back of the pelvis, the sacrum, and the hips. And now begin to include the organs in the abdomen. Even though it's unlikely that the small of your back will reach the ground, picture the sand through the hourglass even there. And allow the upper torso, shoulder blades, the upper arms, they also get heavier. And notice the map of your body extending out to your fingers and your thumbs. And now include your head and all of your thoughts, and the entirety of the whole body can relax against the ground. You may begin noticing when you let the body get relaxed like this, you might notice sounds like the sound of your digestion, which is a sign that your sympathetic nervous system is toning down and your ventral vagal nervous system is coming on board. Now, keeping this inner relaxation, notice your knuckles, your heels against the ground. Let it become a little bit more specific once again. Now, when you notice those sensations that are proximal to you, so your knuckles, your heels, your sacrum, your shoulder blades, you're giving yourself a kind of personal GPS for the present moment. So with that in mind, now I'd like you to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bend your knees. And then let's roll to the side. And use both hands to come up to sitting. When you rise up to sit, come to a comfortable and upright place. Experience the sunlight coming through the window there. And once you come up, I'm going to ask you to try to stay in a whole body awareness, right? So you have awareness of the space that you occupy, the fingers, the top of your head. The total body gets to be here, okay? And ask yourself in this moment, if you were to describe the emotional tone of being in the whole of the body, what are some of those emotions? As you sense the whole of the body, now what emotions might be present will tend to be more neutral emotions. So see if you can listen for maybe the feeling tone of being grounded. And that an emotion, perhaps a feeling stable. Or maybe you feel in the body, the physical sense, you might have a feeling tone of like integration rather than segmentation or scatteredness. And the physical feeling of integration might include like the emotion of feeling balanced. You might simultaneously have a sense of expansion in the body, a feeling of like not being cluttered or not being too isolated or narrow, so a sense of expansiveness. And with that, maybe an emotion of something like contentment or connectedness. And perhaps an overall sense, we could say maybe there's a feeling of peace when the whole of the body allows us to come back home. Our emotions move towards these more, let's say, neutral. They're not high spectrum emotions, but they're also not low or downward spiral emotions. And into this space, imagine what happens if you go to the mental state of judgment, which would have the emotion of fear or aversion or frustration. So just imagine if you went to the mental state of judgment, what would happen physically? What happens physically, right? And in that process, identify what happens physically, and then breathe back out into the fullness of the body in the present moment. So you might have touched the mental state of judgment. You might have touched the emotions that can come with that. You may have touched the body sensation of judgment. But then we can come back to this expansive, stable, connected, whole body sense. And try that with one more emotion. So stay in the whole body, but imagine if you were to come into a feeling of sorrow or a disappointment, like where you might feel that in your physical body. And of course, the sorrow and disappointment may be a very appropriate emotion. Just notice what happens for you in your physical body. Where do you sense that? And so with that emotion, you may have a physical response, and you might have a mental habit attached to that emotion, like wanting to resist it, wanting to oppress it, wanting to judge it, wanting to shape it or coerce it. So notice if that occurs. That would cause that emotion to feel less welcomed and for your body to get more contracted. So come back into the whole body, the sense of the whole body once again. Know that your sorrow or disappointment, those are real emotions and there's a space for them. And when we can feel these emotions in the full body sense without adding judgment, without adding contraction, we get to feel the emotion. And for a time, we are that emotion. We are a vessel for that emotion in our life, but in the human condition. And we don't have to lose ourselves to the emotion. We can come back to this full body sense of well-being where such an emotion can come through and we can survive it. We can express it, and in a way we can live through it and we can thrive on the other side. And so this is a short practice of that, just a couple of emotions that we explored, but you can try it on with some other emotions in your own timing. So please raise your hands to your heart. So good to be with you. I have a sunbeam coming in that I'm gonna navigate that with a curtain here shortly. So thank you very, very much for being here. Please enjoy your evening. Namaste.